Right, guys, we got a quick follow-up video to my one the other day on the new SNP scandal that is hitting the party, this time in Westminster, where Ian Blackford was implicated in ambushing the accuser. But obviously, being the SNP, it doesn't end there, because now it turns out the MP involved has been named as the SNP's chief whip, Patrick Grady. With this revelation coming out in the press, he has actually resigned, at least until an investigation into his conduct is finished, because remember, innocent until proven guilty is still a thing. The real issue here is the accusations now being levelled against the SNP itself for failing to investigate multiple reports of concerning behaviour over 4 or 5 years. But then again, I kinda guess covering shit up is what the SNP do best. Tell me now, the most tin pot corrupt African nation going, and I will bet you right now the SNP are in the process of telling them to hold their beer when it comes to corrupt cover-ups and general shitweasel behaviour. Pressure is obviously piling on right now, not only from Salmond with no confidence votes expected today, but also because a new witness has come out against the MPs involved. So the rot from within is gathering pace, guys, let me tell you. Especially when you factor in these reports are coming from SNP party staff, with some even stating they literally have no faith in old fish lips because these cover-ups are still ongoing and the MPs accused of committing these acts have actually been promoted. So some might say they're even being rewarded for the actions after the SNP have covered it up. Of course, we don't know that for sure, but it is incredible shit either way. Not necessarily surprising for politicians if I'm honest, but rather incredible. But anyway, the Herald has picked up on all this, so let's quickly check out their article on it. It headlines SNP protected Chief Whip Patrick O'Grady over Grope allegations, and this was out just 8 hours ago now. A senior MP accused of sexual harassment was not fully investigated by the party despite multiple reports raising concerns about his behaviour. The Herald can reveal that Patrick Grady, the party's chief whip and SNP MP for Glasgow North, is the MP at the centre of harassment allegations. Obviously, he's just one of them, there is actually two. Letters obtained by the Herald detail concerns about the MP's behaviour at the SNP's Christmas party on December 15, 2016, at London's Phoenix Artists Club. So while he is the MP for Glasgow North, he's actually down in London apparently doing this shit. They claim that Mr. Grady groped 2 male researchers at the bash, but was being protected by the party. They also warned about the risk to others if his behaviour was not addressed. The letters were sent to the House of Commons Speaker John Bercow in December 2017 and early 2018. So literally around the time that the salmon bullshit was also going on up north. The Speaker's office, it says, then passed them on to SNP's compliance unit in line with the party's harassment policy. The first letter states a member of staff recently left the SNP who was groped sexually by Patrick Grady at last year's Christmas party. He found this difficult as he is heterosexual and had to work with him. There was another male staff member who was groped sexually by Mr. Grady the same night of last year. Given the position of Patrick Grady as Chief Whip, staff are scared to come forward because he is protected by the party. However, this happened at Westminster and there are concerns about risk to others if nothing is done. So obviously some pretty damning accusations there and are terrible if they're true. He has actually done the right thing by standing down if you ask me. Though in real honesty the SNP are obviously in the shit for not kicking him out from day dot. Let's be honest, there is 2 witnesses there essentially saying the same thing, though given the Alex Salmond nonsense we actually know they don't care about that. Remember, Nicola Fishlip Sturgeon actually tried to say that 3 people saying the same thing doesn't necessarily constitute evidence. Of course the courts of law would disagree with that. It goes on, a second letter signed by concerned staff members stated this matter in relation to repeated sexual misconduct is widely known about within Westminster and the SNP group. However, given his position and despite a supposed tough stance against harassment, Patrick Grady is being protected and his behaviour is supported. The claims come following allegations by a current SNP employee that he was inappropriately touched on the neck by Mr. Grady while at a social event in London's Water Poet pub in October 2016. Which is something I actually covered in my video the other day. The incident was brought to the attention of the SNP by a colleague of the man, at the time when the Me Too scandal hit Westminster towards the end of 2017, and like I said, the salmon scandal also. Several months later, employees contacted the then Common Speaker John Bercow's office to report the claims of groping by Mr. Grady at the SNP Christmas party previous year. It says despite knowing there had already been one allegation involving Mr. Grady and a young male party employee, the SNP is understood to have taken no action to fully investigate the other concerns. Several SNP sources have told the Herald that the party members have been advised not to comment on the allegations which first came to light earlier this week, because obviously the SNP are going to do their best to sweep this under the rug. It is what they always try to do, hoping of course the complicit media will let them do it. It goes on, however, they have expressed concerns about the way in which the party has handled the complaints regarding the allegations and questions why the MPs have not been suspended pending an investigation, which is also something I would question. Obviously, the SNP don't really give a shit. It goes on, one senior party figure said it's a sorry state of affairs and the way this is being handled is not right. There needs to be transparency. Well, you talk about transparency while not giving your name. Why don't you stand tall and put your head above the parapet and say what you really think with your name behind it? Now, obviously, with all that's going on and what they've been accused of in relation to Alex Salmond, this is some pretty damning shit. Let's be honest, it seems to be rife within the SNP. As I said, the world's worst tin pot third world country literally doesn't hold a candle to the SNP at this point. They are the cover-up kings, if you ask me. Now, with any sort of luck, their attempts at cover-up and being called out for it should come to a head later this afternoon, when the Deputy First Minister hopefully gets booted out the door. I will update you as and when that happens, of course if I have time. If not, I will cover it tomorrow. But one thing you can take from this is the SNP and covering shit up certainly seems to go hand in hand. It would suggest that is exactly what's happened with the Alex Salmond one. And let me tell you, the evidence also suggests it too.